Hey, Charlotte.
Hi.
Hello. Thank you so much for taking a little time to talk about the wild ride coaching,
Yeah, pleasure.
coaching
Mm.
that, yeah, you've embarked on. So, I wondered whether you'd like to share a little bit about your process, how you started, you approached me about coaching, and yeah, can you share a little bit with us
Sure.
what happened for you and what you discovered along the way, how it supported you?
So I'm in my fourth month of coaching with you now, which is really great. Um, and I attended your Writing from the Body back in the spring, and that inspired me to connect with you a bit more. And then through a conversation we had, I discovered that you did coach people like me who were wanting to embark on projects. And I explained that I was writing this book, an autobiographical book. Um, but I was aware in myself that I was at a stage where I'd made loads of notes about the book, and I hadn't really started any writing because I'd done this mind mapping. Um, but I couldn't take the next steps. I didn't know what the next steps were.
So actually to get the project started was
Yeah,
was a big
to
part
begin
of
to
it.
write the book. And I spoke with somebody else who had also written her own autobiographical book. And she said to me, "You will definitely need to have a coach." So that kind of prompted me, which was really great. And I'd seen as well that you had also written books. And yeah, so I've been having my coaching sessions with you in my fourth month, and it's been really incredible, Eva. I mean, I think I was just saying to you previously that I wouldn't be where I'm at now in terms of a continuous, developing writing project without your support. Because I find that to have the accountability of somebody that um, I need to check in with, for one, is really good. But also, I find that you give me really good tips. We discuss at length what I'm doing and maybe where there's some gaps in what I need to be doing in each stage. And you really support me with that. So,
Hmm. And
uh,
that we speak every 2 weeks, don't we?
yeah,
But in the meantime, there's also opportunity
to
check
check
in by
in.
email or
Yeah,
even WhatsApp, and
yeah,
that helps with that accountability and
totally. Because
setting goals
there
for.
is no doubt, and I would say this to anybody, that this amazing idea that you have, that you want to write a book. Once you start that and it starts to unravel, it's really hard to make it happen yourself. And I've written all of my life in one way or another. So, wherever you're at, I just think you need that guidance. You need that accountability. I think it's normal in the creative process to get really stuck as well. And you need somebody that's going to kind of push you a little. So,
And
yeah.
often it's question, isn't it? Just sort of clarify, I might give a tip around, oh, have you tried Scrivener?
Yes.
But
Yeah.
really a lot is about, I'm going to ask you questions,
Yeah.
and you're going to find your own answers
Yeah.
really about,
Yeah.
sharpening an intent, or what is it really about? Where do you want to go? How much time do you want to dedicate? Do you want
Mm.
to write regularly? Either set a time aside or do a word count.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a real collaboration in that sense,
Yes,
isn't
it
it?
is. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, I can't actually believe, even though I'm not even halfway to having a book, but I can't believe I'm even where I'm at, you know. Um, but I can see what a big deal it is. It's just like there's no way I would have discovered what I just have been discovering to make this happen without your support. It just wouldn't be possible. It's just, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, it's
And
incredible.
and you moved from this very open faced and you of just writing what you wanted to write
Yeah,
and be guided by just themes. And
yes,
now we're looking much more at structure
yeah,
and
Yeah, and I've just started editing what I've done so far. And you recommended a really good organisational scrivener, organisational, I don't know what to call it.
tool, yeah.
Oh, yes, that I could put my writing in. So you really helped me set that up, which was amazing. Because actually, the other thing is, and you know this about me, even though I'm very organised as a person, I had a real thing about organising my writing. There was just a thing about me doing the writing. And so now that that's happened, it's become more of a book. It's become, I can see how it's going to start to develop into something else, which, yeah, it's really, really exciting.
And so every step, really, every phase has its own triumphs and challenges.
Yeah,
And
yeah, days where
yeah,
I find it really hard to write, and I have to go through that process of just allowing that also. So it's a real journey, actually.
and so setting up your writing practice, your
Mm,
almost daily practice, that
mm,
was a big point in the beginning, wasn't
yeah,
it? we
yeah,
were we were talking about what's the best way, what are the conditions
yeah.
that you write best? Is it in a coffee shop? Is it at home? Is it in the morning? Do you need a desk? All those
Yeah. Yeah, I
kind
mean,
of,
when it started, it was in the summer, and
yes.
even though we were still in the lockdown, I was still had the ability to go to a local Planet Organic and sit outside in the sun and write. So that was really amazing. I guess what's become a bit more challenging, and where your support's become really important, is now that it's going into winter more and I'm inside more, how I motivate myself and finding new ways. So I think that's the important thing about this coaching, is because life is always changing, you
Hmm.
need support to help you manage that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've called it wild right coaching as
Yeah.
well. And thinking of that, why did I put the word wild in there? And for me,
Mm,
it's very much about our wild soul, our wild nature, our instinctive nature. So
mm,
that's invited too.
yeah,
And with it, we started working together in the writing from the body.
mm,
And so part of the coaching too, isn't it? It's like we start often from the body, every
yeah,
coaching session,
yeah,
either it's with a piece of music that I bring in and you move with it and do a few minutes free writing, just so we start from much more of a holistic place, a
yes,
place of where
yes,
you bring your whole self, your embodied self to the writing.
yes,
For me, that's really important within the coaching,
yeah,
and in my own writing practice.
yeah.
But yeah,
I mean, I find that really works because, one, I really enjoy the movement and the writing. It's really inspiring. But because I teach yoga, for me, it's very natural to do things that are about the body.
mm.
So it's a really great combination. Um,
Yeah, and it's like using those tools as well in
yeah,
your,
and
like you're
coming from
saying,
a
you might have a day when you're a bit stuck, and you talked a lot about music, and
mm,
it's like you might put a piece of music on, move to it, do a little bit of free writing, and then come to your project.
yeah. And
So
it's
part of
coming,
the coaching is finding these things that really work individually for you.
yeah, it's coming at it from a freer place.
Hmm.
So even though I do have the structured days that we've discussed, sometimes I've noticed some real random big writing moments now. So in some ways, my writing is changing as
Mhm.
well with all of these tools, and dipping into research and other resources really kind of prompts that, I think.
Yeah, and that's also part of the coaching. We might look at, okay, so there's the writing and you're getting a writing practice done. But whatever project it is, whether it's a novel or a screenplay,
Yeah,
or like in your case, more memoir writing,
yeah.
there's always some research involved as well. And how do you do that it doesn't completely take over the writing time, or Yeah,
But
so
that
that
can also be really fun. So
absolutely.
because of the nature of how we're living at the moment, it has involved watching films or doing things online or um,
Yeah, and so that's part of the writing too. So the coaching to pool in a way. You know, you would come and say something about the East End, and I was saying, you know, have you thought of this film? Or
yes. Yeah.
yeah, and yeah. So what the coaching isn't about, isn't it? It's about your actual writing. So I won't be reading your actual writing, but it's everything but that in a
No,
way.
but I
I
think
feel, you know, I'm supporting you in everything that's to do with your process.
I think what's important to mention though, there is permission often for me to talk about my journey with that. So I do let you know about what may have come up for me around
Absolutely.
in my life or when I wrote something, or because it is also a very cathartic process.
Absolutely. And that's always the case, but probably particularly about memoir writing, you know,
Yeah.
life writing, writing from your life. That is inevitably will bring up things, and that's very, very welcome. Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's really good to have some sounding board for that as well.
Yeah, I mean, it makes it very rich, I think. Um,
Hmm.
I mean, I always find I get really good pointers, Eva, at the end of the sessions.
Hmm.
And, if I'm feeling a bit stuck or a bit unsure as to how I do the next stage or what happens next, I always come away from the sessions with something to work with that I hadn't thought of. So that's really good.
Yeah, that's great. Oh, we create some home play as well, or
Yes.
some
Yeah.
steps towards the next.
Yeah.
So at the beginning of a 3 months writing block, we set some aims and goals.
Yes.
Where would you like to see yourself at the end? And then we break it down, and then each session will, and we're also flexible with it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And it was amazing actually at the end of the 3 months when we did that kind of check-in session to see how far I'd come and how much of the goals I'd managed to meet, and then think about the intentions for the next. Yeah, it really allowed me to see progress actually, which was
And
amazing.
yeah, which is an important thing because we're talking about longer term projects,
Yeah,
right? You
yeah,
know, because it's going through so many different phases, and so it's also important to celebrate that. So
yes.
for me, that's really was really important. I remember our last session of the first bundle, really counting your triumphs and your celebrating
Yeah,
where you've gotten to
yeah,
in all ways, the actual words, the actual chapters, what it did to your confidence. And also, this idea of it's really dear to my heart that the whole coaching process is nurturing your writer,
yeah.
because a lot of us are wearing different hats,
Mm.
and being a writer is one of it. And
Totally.
so,
And also it can be quite isolating once you
yeah,
get going on a project. So you need that continuous support really. Yeah, it's quite an internal process. Yeah.
great. Well, thank you so much, Charlotte.
Thank you, Eva.
And your project is continuing
It
in
is, yeah.
suspense.
I've just been going through the project now. And that was one of the things that I needed to do after our last coaching session. And then I'm going to restructure it slightly into different order, and then I'm going to carry on. And I also have got a bit of research that I need to crack on with. Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much,
Thank
Charlotte. It's
you,
been
Eva.
lovely to talk to you.
And you. Thank you.
Take care. Speak soon.